The galaxy had long been dominated by powerful alien empires, each one stronger than the last. The Zarthi Dominion, with its vast fleets of bioengineered warships. The Zel-Kar Coalition, boasting their perfect hive mind strategy and endless legions of clones. And the Ethrex Confederacy, with technology so advanced that entire worlds could be erased with the flick of a switch. These alien empires had ruled the stars for centuries, each one claiming their superiority over lesser species. But when humanity arrived in the galactic fold, the balance of power shifted, irreversibly, permanently. It began innocently enough. The humans were still new to the galactic stage, their spacefaring capabilities rudimentary compared to the ancient empires they encountered. Initially, they were dismissed as just another fleeting species with no chance of survival. The Zarthi fleet, with its massive dreadnoughts and organic ships capable of absorbing enemy fire, encountered a small human ship on the outer rim of the galaxy. Their first assumption was simple: destroy them quickly and move on. But the humans didn't simply flee or surrender. They fought back, and for the first time in galactic history, the Zarthi Dominion met an enemy that didn't fear them. Human ingenuity turned what would have been a hopeless fight into a bloody skirmish. The humans used their limited technology to hack into Zarthi systems, launching unexpected ambushes. They deployed makeshift EMP devices that disrupted Zarthi biotech ships, causing them to malfunction mid-combat. They didn't win, but they made the Zarthi feel pain, a rare thing for a species used to dominating their enemies without effort. The Zarthi, arrogantly thinking they had merely stumbled upon a lucky fluke, responded with overwhelming force. They brought forth their full fleet, ready to wipe humanity from existence. They underestimated the humans again. The humans, realizing that their weapons were no match for the Zarthi's firepower, took a different route. Using guerrilla tactics, they attacked supply lines, hit isolated vessels, and sabotaged anything they could. The Zarthi fleet was massive, but it relied heavily on centralized command and complex biological ships that were vulnerable to human sabotage. The humans didn't play by the Zarthi's rules. They fought dirty, like cornered animals. They launched surprise attacks on fuel depots, destroyed communication relays, and used everything at their disposal, from homemade mines to commandeered alien vessels, to strike the Zarthi wherever it hurt the most. It wasn't just ingenuity, it was the brutality of humanity's desperation. Every human who survived the attacks became more ruthless, more determined. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for their right to exist in a universe where they were constantly under threat. And that brutality became their greatest weapon. The first major victory came when a small human fleet, outnumbered 10-1, led a suicide mission to destroy a key Zarthi warship. Rather than trying to outmaneuver the enemy with superior tactics or weapons, the humans rammed their ships into the Zarthi fleet, knowing full well they were going to die. But they did so with such force and ferocity that the Zarthi flagship was crippled. The Zarthi didn't know how to respond to such raw, suicidal determination. It was something they had never seen before. This moment was the beginning of the end for the Zarthi Dominion. The humans' reputation spread across the galaxy, and soon other empires took notice. The Zel-Kar Coalition, the next to engage humanity, thought themselves wiser. Their hive mind strategy, based on perfect coordination and millions of identical soldiers, was a well-oiled machine designed to wipe out any resistance. The Zel-Kar's first mistake was assuming that humanity could be subsumed into their collective. The coalition used its telepathic powers to try to subjugate the human will, but they found that human minds were not easily controlled. Humans fought with unpredictability, and worse, humans were willing to fight without reason, without strategy. The Zel-Kar quickly realized that they couldn't outthink or outmaneuver humans. They couldn't control them. The humans didn't need to fight with coordination. They fought with rage and stubbornness. The humans launched a massive counteroffensive against the Zel-Kar, using tactics the coalition had never encountered. They feigned retreat, leading the Zelkar into traps, where they unleashed devastating ambushes and overwhelmed them with waves of suicidal attacks. The Zelkar's perfect strategy faltered under the weight of human unpredictability. The Coalition's hive mind couldn't keep up with the chaotic, brutal tactics the humans deployed, and in the end, the Zelkar were forced to retreat, having lost their entire invasion force to an enemy they couldn't understand. It wasn't just the Zarthi and Zelkar who learned to fear humanity. The Ythrex Confederacy, with its advanced AI-driven war machines and planet-killing superweapons, believed themselves to be the pinnacle of civilization. When they engaged humanity in full-scale war, they anticipated an easy victory. But what they failed to consider was the unyielding human spirit. The humans didn't bend to fear. When faced with extinction, they fought back not with technology, but with sheer willpower. The Ythrex used their AI to predict every human move, every tactic, but they underestimated the one thing that made humans dangerous: their ability to improvise. The humans hacked into Ythrex systems, planting viruses and false data that sent their machines into disarray. They used guerrilla warfare, hitting Ythrex supply lines and sabotaging their weapons. But perhaps the most savage tactic came when humanity, in desperation, unleashed their final weapon: the Death Spiral. The Death Spiral was a plan conceived in the darkest moments of the war, a final, desperate measure to ensure that if humanity was destroyed, the Ythrex would be brought down with them. Using their knowledge of Ythrex technology, humans rigged entire star systems with self-destructive traps, powered by stolen Ythrex superweapons. The plan was simple. If the Ythrex wanted to erase humanity, they would pay the price for it. The Death Spiral wiped out entire Ythrex fleets in a single catastrophic event. In the end, humanity had destroyed the Zarthi Dominion, shattered the Zelkar Coalition, and wiped the Ythrex Confederacy from existence. It was not through superior technology or unmatched firepower. It was through the raw brutality and ingenuity of a species that refused to accept defeat, no matter the odds. The galaxy would never forget the lesson they had learned the hard way. Humans never surrender,